Hey everyone, Matt here from Ducks Running, and today we're going to do a 100-mile review of the Saucony Endorphin Speed 5. So the Endorphin Speed 5 is the more flexible counterpart to the Endorphin Pro 4. There's some research a long time ago that suggests that people do better in different levels of stiffness. The Endorphin Speed came along with the Pro. Over time, it's evolved to more of being like a super trainer, super lightweight trainer, where it's been, again, with a nylon plate, a little more flexible, but still had full length power on PB. This shoe has seen a couple different versions. Version 3 to version 4 was probably one of the biggest transitions, where version 3 was pretty soft. It got a teeny bit more stable from the previous versions. Version 4 got firm, snappy, a little bit later, and it was actually a really, really good shoe that I enjoyed. Had some limitations, but definitely got it to 100 miles, and I figured, hey, might as well do the same thing. And I'll be honest that I actually had quite a bit of trouble getting the Endorphin Speed 5 to 100 miles, and I'll talk about why. Even though on paper, this should be like my favorite shoe. It's got all the things that I normally would like. Super foam, it's got a plate, it's got a setup that should actually make it technically the stability super racer out there. It's not meant to be that, but there's some setup here that actually makes it feel very immediately stable, very prominently, where like I feel like my foot's getting pushed laterally. And again, I should like it, but there's some other things that kind of got in the way that I want to talk about to help you make a decision about whether this shoe is going to be right for you. Because as always, we at Doctors Running are not trying to sell you shoes, but help you figure out what works best for you and help you figure out whether you should think or pass on a shoe. So as always, let's start off with specs in my men's size 10. So that's coming in for this shoe at 250 core grams or 9 ounces. And stack height wise, the report is 36 in the heel, 28 in the forefoot, feels much taller than that. The Speed 4 was listed by some people at 38.30. I would say it feels similar to that, pretty high stack height underfoot. And the power on PB here is one of the softest power on PBs I felt since version 3, where the foam is really soft underfoot, especially at that lateral heel right here, again, because there's no lateral winglet to this nylon plate. So that compresses quite a bit. It feels soft and bouncy underfoot, at least initially. I almost felt like it was too soft initially, and then in the middle miles, about 25 to about 80, it was like, oh, there's some really good bounce, it feels good. It's not necessarily the fastest shoe because it's not the most intense amount of foam, it's not their newer mixture, and it's a nylon plate, but it felt really good for training miles, workouts. While not being the absolute fastest shoe, it could definitely still do tempo runs, it did intervals, it did long runs well, even though it started to firm up a little bit. It could handle all those things. I could see it definitely being that longer distance racer option for many, many people. What ended up happening though toward the end is that power on PB went from being soft in the beginning, a little bouncy, and then really started to firm up where it's like soft but firm really quick, and it lost a lot of that bounce in that last 20 miles. I am really hard on my shoes, but I expect that midsole to last a little longer, so know that the midsole may not last the longest. It'll start to lose that bounce toward the end of that 100-ish mile area. The other thing that was really frustrating was that the outsole came off. Now, version 4, despite how it looked, I never pulled the outsole off. I got 150 miles, it hung on there. I obviously ripped through a little bit of the power on PB, but when you have a softer midsole material like this version, you'll tear through this stuff really quick if you're someone who has a lot of friction on the ground. This thing I have glued on twice. This is the third time it's came off, and I just gave up on my last run and going, I'm just gonna leave this off for the review. So outsole durability is not so hot. If you're rough on outsoles, if you have a lot of friction like I do where you scuff, especially your left heel, this may not be the best option for you from a long-term standpoint. If you're light on your feet, you're gonna be absolutely fine, but for those of us that are tough, this might be a little bit rough for you, so just watch out. So ride, again, it's got a bouncy ride initially, but the midsole tends to firm up pretty quick later on. Outsole durability, not the best overall, but I will say the transition is really smooth. It is very nice. There's a lot of medial sole flare, and this lateral portion of the wall, of this midsole wall, has actually been really nicely designed so that it collapses great. So from the first step, this shoe has felt like a medial stability shoe with almost like a post in the heel and the midfoot, which is really nice. There's sidewalls, this medial sole flare, which you can see, and there's no lateral plate, which means that when you land, you're gonna go lateral. It's great, it's only a medial wing plate. So that felt really, really good for me because I generally need some medial stability. But the only challenge with that is that, again, the shoe's wearing out so quick, that kind of lost the bounce. It wasn't the greatest. So I will also warn those that want a more centered shoe or don't like lateral bias, it's pretty extreme. Like, I'm this should almost be put in the stability category in the rear foot. So if you don't like that much lateral motion, this shoe is not going to work well. My right side needs stability. My left can be a little sensitive when I get overcorrected, and my left foot bugged me a few times during runs in these. So if you need medial stability, this is going to be really, really good for you. Just know that it's going to be softer underfoot, and it does firm up, so you're going to get some really good early kind of first 100 miles. Then you're going to lose some of the bounce, like a lot of super shoes. So it is something to be aware of. Just know that, yeah, it can actually do that. So people that want that, there is this shoe. It's not considered technically a stability shoe, but its design has made it totally stable, where even when I'm doing long runs, it's been totally fine, and my mechanics have felt fine. My post tip on my right side has felt absolutely fine. It's just that, yeah, there's a softer midsole, so if you're gonna go lateral, you're gonna feel it. So I have a little bit of Achilles tendon issues on my left side. When I really get pulled out laterally, it doesn't like it. So right now, this shoe, it's a little bit rough for me. So no, stability issues, great. Other stuff, lateral sensitivities, maybe not the best. Last thing, talking about the upper is fairly high volume. Unlike version 4, which was kind of a little bit more snug, almost like just right, version 5 is very similar to the Endorphin Pro 4, where a lot of volume here. Not the widest shoe, more normal, it's teeny bit wide, but there's a lot of upper material, a lot of volume here, so I had to really cinch down the laces to get a secure fit, and I was still getting a little bit of slippage. So if you are somebody that has a narrow foot, this is not going to work for you. If you have a wider foot, higher volume foot, this is going to be a great option, which is why I think a lot of people with medial stability needs and a higher volume foot that don't have a lot of friction and don't scuff their feet a lot, this shoe actually might be really good, especially if you want a softer ride. Maybe the durability will last a little bit better for you, but I was disappointed, given that it's $175 now, that durability wouldn't be as great. But it still has a place. As I said, the goal is not to bias you one way or another, but it's to help you figure out, hey, of all the shoes, would this shoe be something that maybe some people would consider? I still think yes. It's just some things that I think the midsole, for me, I just want it to be a little bit snappier, and I want it to last. I think it's today's world. We've got super foams that are lasting a really, really long time. Super shoes that are lasting longer than daily trainers. I'm gonna kind of expect that in today's world from Power Run PB. This mixture, again, if you like soft, it's gonna be great. If you want that more snappy feeling, version 4 is gonna be better. I did a comparison review previously. So yeah, just a lot of things to think about. But again, if you need some medial stability in an unofficial stability shoe, I would really consider looking at this. And again, it's probably the only thing we have that sits in this weight range that has a super foam and some kind of stiffening agent in it. So interested to see where Saucony goes with this. I'd be really curious to see if it gets the Increditrun treatment in the next version. I have no idea what it's going to look like, but I just want to see. We got to update the Power and PB a little bit. It's getting a little bit stale, and it feels like it's kind of similar or a little bit mushy compared to previous versions. So yeah, that's the 100-mile review. I'm really curious to know, has anybody else gotten this shoe to 100 miles? Or you have similar thoughts, different thoughts? Am I just the only person that just rips outsoles off like this? Do you feel that medial stability here because of the flare and the way the plate's designed? Am I the only one that's feeling that? Please let people know in the comments below, because again, this isn't about me. This is about providing good education and good content to all of you out there to help you figure out what works best for you, what shoes might work best, and what might not as well. So we're not trying to sell anything. As I said earlier, it's just trying to help you make good decisions about what you put on your feet so you can stay healthy and get out there and run in what should be a simple sport.